The hum from the secure phone on the bedside table begins at 4:37 a.m., a low, insistent vibration against the polished wood. It is not an alarm. Alarms signal a schedule. This hum signals a deviation from all schedules, a new fact in a world that never truly sleeps. An aide, already suited, knocks once and steps silently into the outer room, having received the direct alert from the Situation Room an hour before you did. The subject, you are told, involves an anomaly detected by a specific Block 5 satellite, call sign Spectre 4, orbiting 22,300 miles above the South China Sea. You have walked through the pre-dawn quiet of the West Wing, past sleeping Secret Service agents, to a small, windowless conference room adjacent to the Oval Office. On a screen, the raw data flickers, a thermal signature, faint but unmistakable, traced to a previously uncatalogued facility in the Spratly Islands. This signature indicates new activity, a break from established patterns observed for 18 months. At 6 a.m., the Presidential Daily Briefing, a 4-page summary of global intelligence, is hand-delivered by a senior analyst. This document is the distilled essence of 18 separate intelligence agencies, a curated reality. A single paragraph buried on page 3 mentions a new commodity exchange opening in Riyadh, backed by a consortium of sovereign wealth funds. It took 6 months of human operations and 3 dedicated satellite passes to piece together that specific financial detail. You read the summary quickly, your eyes scanning for connections, for threads linking to the early morning alert. A line about an unscheduled cargo manifest, detected by maritime surveillance in the Persian Gulf, makes the connection. The manifest declares industrial refrigeration units, but the specific weight metrics are inconsistent with standard models. Your chief of staff, Sarah Albright, waits outside the room, a tablet in her hand, the day's master schedule illuminated on its screen. Every minute from 6:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. is already allocated, a mosaic of policy reviews, diplomatic calls, and public appearances. The 9 a.m. meeting on domestic energy policy is a carefully choreographed negotiation. 14 agency heads and senior advisors fill the cabinet room. The Secretary of Energy presents data on grid stability, citing a 3.2% increase in peak demand over the last quarter. The EPA administrator pushes for tighter emission standards, directly referencing the specific economic impact of recent wildfires in California, which cost the federal government $18 billion last year in disaster relief and infrastructure repair. You listen, absorbing conflicting priorities. The economic impact reports from the Treasury Secretary clashing with the public health data from HHS. Each department's budget, each political promise, sits on the table like a stack of chips. Midday arrives with the press corps. The White House press secretary, Jane Holloway, hands you a card with 5 approved talking points for the Rose Garden briefing. These points have been drafted, revised, and run through a team of 30 communications strategists to optimize their impact on the NASDAQ, on Beijing's foreign ministry, and on swing voters in Omaha. You step out into the sunlight. A specific phrase about strengthening market resilience is repeated by 3 reporters in quick succession, echoing the precise language from the prepared statement. Your movements are a ballet of precision and security. The Secret Service coordinates every step. The journey from the Oval Office to the Rose Garden, a mere 78 feet, requires a dozen agents to secure, each assigned a specific sector of coverage. Back inside, the unscheduled cargo manifest from the Persian Gulf resurfaces. New intelligence, delivered via a U-2 Dragon Lady overflight at 10:45 a.m., confirms a specific type of dual-use technology on board the vessel. The industrial refrigeration units declared on the manifest are, in fact, highly specialized components for centrifuge enrichment cascades. The target destination, a port in the Bandar Abbas region, is known for its links to a state proliferation network. At 1 p.m., your meeting on agricultural subsidies is abruptly cut short. You are ushered, not by an aide, but by a senior military official, into the Situation Room. The atmosphere is taut. On the main monitor, a live satellite feed shows a freighter, the MV Athena, flagged out of Panama, now nearing the Strait of Hormuz. Its specific speed has increased by 7 knots in the last hour. General Miller, chairman of the Joint Chiefs, stands to your left, his face impassive. To your right, the Director of National Intelligence presents the updated assessment. The cargo is indeed precursor components for uranium enrichment, 85% confidence level. The end user, though, remains at 60% confidence. 3 options are presented: a diplomatic démarche to Panama requesting an inspection, which would take 48 hours to be effective, or a naval interception. Admiral Thorne, commander of CENTCOM, details the tactical reality. The USS Fitzgerald, an Arleigh Burke-class destroyer, is 230 nautical miles from the Athena's projected course. An intercept window of 3 hours remains before the freighter enters coastal waters that complicate a non-escalatory approach. The third option, a covert special forces boarding, carries an unacceptably high risk of compromise and international incident, according to the CIA station chief. You lean forward, you ask for the intelligence confidence level again, not the general figure, but the specific source breakdown for the 85% figure. It's primarily SIGINT, confirmed by ELINT, but HUMINT is sparse. The risk of escalation, the certainty of a diplomatic incident, weighs against the potential for a specific nuclear program to advance by years. You consider the 60% confidence for the end user. You make eye contact with Admiral Thorne. The room is silent. You say one word: intercept. Within seconds, the secure communications lines light up. The order flashes from the Situation Room to CENTCOM headquarters in Tampa, Florida. Then, from Tampa to the 5th Fleet Command in Bahrain. Finally, a specific message encryption key unlocks on the bridge of the USS Fitzgerald. Captain Rodriguez receives the direct order detailing the Athena's specific heading and speed. A diplomatic cable to Panama, drafted and awaiting your final approval for the diplomatic approach, is now filed away, never sent. The afternoon scheduled meeting with the Council of Economic Advisors, intended to discuss the federal debt ceiling, is pushed to tomorrow. Hours pass. You are back in the Oval Office, signing legislation, clearing your desk of smaller, yet still significant tasks. One bill authorizes $200 million for port security upgrades, a direct response to a container scanning failure in 2017 that allowed 3 tons of fentanyl to enter the U.S. Then, at 5:48 p.m., another call from the Situation Room. General Miller. The MV Athena changed course. Not toward its planned destination at Bandar Abbas, but veering hard toward specific international waters, a designated shipping lane north of Musandam Peninsula, triggering protocols nobody anticipated. This was a feint. The intelligence, though 85% confident on the cargo, had missed a key piece of information. The Athena was a decoy. The real shipment, smaller, faster, carrying an identical manifest but with a different set of tracking data, had already passed through the Strait of Hormuz 12 hours earlier, moving south, not north. It used a specific, commercially available masking technology that mimicked an oil tanker's emissions signature. The system, designed for high-confidence, large-scale threats, had been gamed by an agile, low-signature operation. The evening is spent in briefings on the ramifications, the diplomatic fallout of the intercepted decoy ship. Panama will issue a formal protest note tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. local time. The intelligence analysts are already reevaluating the specific data points that led to the misdirection, attempting to understand the subtle shifts in pattern recognition that were missed. You are told that this new method of evasive shipping, combining decoys with masked signals, represents a tactical innovation that demands a comprehensive update to maritime surveillance protocols. Back in the Oval Office at 8 p.m., the secure phone on your desk, the same one that buzzed at 4:37 a.m., is silent. The day's events, both the visible triumph of stopping the Athena and the invisible failure of missing the real target recede into the global hum of the 24-hour intelligence cycle. The system, vast and intricate, designed to prevent failures, simultaneously provides the data points for new, more sophisticated ones to emerge. The adversary, having seen your response to a specific threat, has already adapted, learning from your reaction, preparing the next anomaly for the next 4:37 a.m.